Who bills himself as the Atlantic City Express, taking on a very experienced fighter and a guy who's been in there with just about everybody around in Jose Ribalta.
I gave you the instructions, fellas. You want a nice clean fight. Shake hands, good luck to both.
We are just about set to go with Jose Ribalta fighting out of the red corner wearing the maroon trunks and Bruce Seldon in the black trunks. There's a look at Jose Ribalta. Ribalta comes right out, attacks Seldon with the right hand, and Seldon goes down.
Wow.
A shocker.
5, 6, 7.
And Seldon jumps back up. I didn't think that punch hurt him that much, but I'd say he went down and stayed there.
Was that a complete ploy? That's bizarre if that's true.
Boy, it cost him a round almost for sure.
That is bizarre. I have never seen that in 10+ years of announcing boxing. I think he did that on purpose. Wow, that's bizarre. Jumped up after being knocked down. Doesn't look like he was hurt at all.
He did get hit, but it wasn't that big a punch. And oftentimes you see a flash knockdown, and especially since these fighters have to go out in the cold, literally out in the cold, outside before they come in the arena after leaving their dressing room. So it wouldn't surprise us to see a flash knockdown like that, but very strange.
That is astonishing. And Bruce Seldon looks for all the world like nothing affected him. He looked like he was on the canvas. He would never get up, and he jumped up. Wow.
And Ribalta has that look in his face like he's not quite sure what to make of it.
As well he should. If it was a play, it might be an effective one.
Come on out, come on out, come on out, come on out.
I simply can't believe it was a play.
I guess not, but boy, did you see the way he jumped up? Amazing. His crowd's still trying to figure it out as well.
All right, come on.
Bruce Seldon, you know, he is normally more of a boxer, and you see him really going after Jose Ribalta here, like he wants to. Even though he's got knockouts, Seldon lives and dies usually by the jab and good combinations, which he heard a couple of fights ago. Both hands, especially the jab hand, and he's hoping that he has no ill effects from those. Didn't against David Bay, his last outing.
Ribalta fighting much of his first round against the ropes. That was a good lunging right hand by Seldon, but Ribalta holds on.
It's getting strange here in round one. Stranger, I should say.
And again, Ribalta just backs right up into the ropes.
There's the Seldon jab, Barry. We've seen it before. We know it's an excellent punch. When he uses that on a regular basis, that's why people think of him as a good young prospect.
Seldon being a little bit wild now. You know, one of the things, Al, that we've talked about this on this evening, but this is a chance for these young fighters to really make an impressive showing. And guys like Bruce Seldon, and you'd said this earlier, that their reputation is not so much as a guy who can get you out of there. And all of these guys really want to prove that, hey, yes, I can get a man out. And that may be what Seldon's doing here. And in the process, being a little bit wild.
That's all.
Strange first round.
He's putting it mildly. Was that man hurt? Was it a ploy? Carmen Graziano.
I want to show the one. He's lining up with that. Hit you with his best shot, Bruce. Took you right over your feet. You were aware, huh? You ready to count 8? I just saw what I wanted to see, dude. You showed me something I didn't know.
Based upon the jab, it doesn't look like a ploy. He said he hit you with his best shot. You were aware, right? There it is, yeah.
Pretty good shot now that you look at it again.
And thank goodness he went all the way down, or I'll tell you what, he would have been hit by a shot by Ribalta when he was down. Here we'll take a look at that right hand. Yes, a good punch, and yes, he did go down. It was not a ploy. See, look at that. Now, if his head had been a little higher, he would have been hit, and they should have disqualified Ribalta. I don't know if they would have if he had landed the punch.
So a stunning first round, and now we'll see if things settle down as we start round number 2. Good combination by Seldon. And Ribalta looking for a place to hang on. Good right hand by Seldon. Now Ribalta does hold on.
Let him go, Jose. Let him go. Let him go.
And these ropes are extremely loose, and that is helping Ribalta a little bit as he goes against those ropes. diminishing the impact of these punches. That first round becomes a pretty wild one to score because Seldon went down, then dominated the 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the round.
And of course, when a man does go down, you usually make it a 2-point round. So now you look at the other side of it, and maybe Ribalta wins the round by a point.
Yeah, or an even round if you really want to give Seldon credit. The Seldon jab is getting to Ribalta. Jose is lingering on the ropes a lot and not helping him.
Let's talk about the fact that may be a Ribalta tactic and try to get Seldon worn down. Although one thing Seldon does bring up against, and that is condition.
Yeah, that is obvious. And the one thing that the David Bay fight showed, and there's a left hook from Ribalta. I was just about to say that there's somebody loses their mouthpiece, and when there is a break in the action, they will put that mouthpiece back in. Yes, there it is. That pick.
Clean this off.
I was going to say, David Bay showed you can hit Seldon with a left hook. You heard him with a couple of left hooks. This man, Jose Ribalta, has a pretty decent left hook. He just hasn't been able to get it on track yet, although it was a right that knocked Seldon down.
And we talk about the conditioning of Bruce Seldon, which is always very, very good. That cannot necessarily be said in all candor about Jose Ribalta. He's a guy who sometimes comes in great shape, and other times it's a payday. Good right hand by Seldon there.
All right, let him go, Jose. Let him go. Let him go.
Last time out, he went full 10 with Tim Witherspoon Ribalta. So for Seldon, if he could get him out, it would be a huge win, and he could be doing it now.
Right hand really set up Ribalta, knocked him into the corner, and Ribalta finally can manage to hold on and get him out in the center of the ring. But he's still hurt.
He's not lacked for action here in the first 2 rounds.
Seldon jab getting through at will.
Hold that glove. Close the glove.
Ribalta pushing him up, but not firing and counterpunching when Seldon's coming in.
Coming to the end of round number 2, and a good round for Bruce Seldon.
Time, right there, right there. He's got to keep this glove closed. He can't stick it out like that. Tell him now in front of me. Tell him in front of me.
Guy who's already fought 10 rounds.
He has taken a lot of punishment in the first 2 rounds, and here's an example of that punishment. It all flows off the jab for Seldon. There is the jab, setting up, boom, the good right hand. That one rocked Ribalta, and then he went after him in the corner. And again, you get a look at Seldon using that jab to set things up, and that time he follows it with the hook. He's landed 70% of his jabs, has Bruce Seldon, and look, the jab is what sets up that right hand beautifully.
And as we said, he's just getting there with the jab whenever he wants. And I tell you, Ribalta, as we start the 3rd round, does not look on steady legs to me.
He's been hurt by Seldon, and it's almost as if all those jabs are really having an impact. Really remarkable when you think
All right, Frank, step back.
Bruce Seldon went down about the first 10 seconds of this fight from a thunderous right. The way he fell and the delayed reaction made you think he's not getting up, period. He jumped up and went right after Ribalta. That's one of the more astonishing things I've seen in the boxing ring, and that's why I really thought it was a ploy.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, what it turns out to be is very heady.
Yeah.
And since the first 10 seconds of this fight, the fight has belonged to Bruce Seldon.
Yeah, he has dominated, and I think it actually shocked Ribalta so much that Seldon came back like that it just screwed up his thinking also.
Yeah, he's in no rhythm whatsoever.
Many people, of course, remember Jose Ribalta from the superb performance he gave against Mike Tyson, which he really, you called that fight, he performed extremely well against Tyson.
He took one of the most vicious uppercuts I've ever seen thrown in that fight. Tyson literally lifted him up with an uppercut in that fight. That was the beginning of the end for him. Good right hand there by Seldon.
There's the Ribalta jab, and boy, we have not seen that much in this bout. The way you beat a good jabber is by out-jabbing him. Seldon switches to lefty every once in a while, and he started to do that there and then went back to the righty stance. Now against David Bay, another canny veteran, Seldon did have a period in the middle of the fight where he slowed down a bit. We'll have to see if that would happen here against Ribalta. Ribalta is starting to throw a little bit more now.
A little bit more, and now you start to wonder if the fighting with his back to the ropes and fighting in retreat is not a ploy on the part of Ribalta.
He's taking a lot of punishment as a result of that, though.
Pace is slowed appreciably here in the third round. And again, a double right hand, and Ribalta bends over those loose ropes to which he referred. He didn't cover up, and Seldon rightly jumps right on him and knocks him down.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Ribalta complaining, but it's one of the credos of the sport. Protect yourself at all times.
All right?
Ted Pick did not feel there was a need for him to step in, and he did. Luckily for Ribalta, just seconds left. Oh, man, that one came from right field.
I felt it.
Wow.
And a left hand, Ribalta's in big trouble. Might want to move that coke, Al. He may be coming this way.
We may have a guest commentator at ringside here for a second. What a round for Seldon. Ribalta is very, very shaky.
He was actually shaky, as you mentioned, after the last round. And he took a real beating in that round, and he does not have much left.
Yeah, right back. One more. You can't see out of one eye.
It's over.
Well, Bruce Seldon administering this kind of punishment, and this is what ultimately leads to the stoppage of this fight. Bruce Seldon says, I can still punch, I'm going to do it. Bruce Pick did not step in, and Seldon put Ribalta down, and ultimately that contributes to this fight being over.
And you might have heard when Jose Ribalta went back to his corner, he said, I can't see. So I don't know if he got a thumb in the eye or if it was from a punch or whatever, but Ribalta's corner says that's enough. And Bruce Seldon has scored what has to be put in the category of impressive win.
And impressive, if for no other reason, because of how dramatic it was. Getting clocked with a right hand as you come out, getting hit cold, if you will, getting up, jumping up, and then dominating the next 2.5 rounds. This young man has got some heart and courage.
Yes, he really does. And that's something by which the good fighters are measured. And he has really shown that. And for Jose Ribalta, oftentimes you can say there'll be another day. And frankly, I'm not sure there will be for him.
Well, you know, he hadn't been doing that badly in his career. The only loss in the last 8 or 9 fights was the loss to Witherspoon. That he went 10 with Tim Witherspoon. For Seldon to get him out this early, because you pointed out sometimes we don't know the Jose Ribalta that'll show up. Was he prepared for this young man? He was prepared in the first 15 seconds, but not after that.
Yeah, I think that's true. And the fact is, even though he hasn't lost very much, let's get it official now from Mike Buffer, and then we'll talk about this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time. The end comes at the end of the 3rd round. Referee Ted Pick stops the bout. The winner by TKO. Still undefeated. His record now 17-0, 14 knockouts. The Atlantic City Express, Bruce Seldon.
So Bruce Seldon is the winner, and as we mentioned, Ribalta, even though he hasn't got too many losses, he hasn't fought very much. He fought twice last year, 3 times in '89, only once in 1988, and only 3 times in 1987, so maybe inactivity was as big a winner over Jose Ribalta as Bruce Seldon was. Nonetheless, let's take nothing away from him. 17-0, very impressive fashion.
Yeah, and the way he did it, with this last knockdown especially, you can see the power that Bruce Seldon has and the way he sets his punches up. The jab is such a superb weapon. Now here's where everybody seemed to think that the referee might step in because he was leaning over the rope. Seldon's looking, and Ribalta gets clocked. And in truth, Ribalta should have been defending himself at that point. And as we see Ribalta get up here, he is complaining to Ted Pick and maybe complaining about vision or something along those lines. Or he might have been complaining about Pick not stepping in. Whatever the case, this is a beaten fighter at this point.
No question about it. In fact, he looked like a beaten fighter even before that round started, truth to tell. So Bruce Seldon is a winner. He is 17-0, and he is someone to contend with.